here, y'all. What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Yeah. Y'all been following what's going on with that United Healthcare dude? Y'all been following what's going on with that? I've been meaning to mention the United Healthcare situation. I've been meaning to mention that. That dude seems like a motherfucking hero. I'm not for nothing happening, but we see what's been going on with these insurance companies. Insurance companies are the biggest thugs on the planet. And it looks like thugs got dealt with how thugs get dealt with when it comes to this whole United Care CEO thing situation. And hey, telling y'all right now, we are going into a 9 of hearts year. What y'all saw happen with that United Healthcare CEO? What do you see going on with Jay-Z? All this stuff ties in. All this stuff ties in. All of this stuff ties in. Next year is a year of completion. End of a cycle. End of an era. And we have been in an era of degeneracy that's coming to an end. But before I get all the way into the Urkel part, what's up, chat room? Thank y'all for joining. In the chat. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all for being up in here. But, I want to get into it because I don't have too much time today. It's a lot. It's a lot going on here in my apartment. With my building, I got a lot of shit going on. That's why I apologize for being late. But I got a lot going on here in my buildings. What can you do? I ain't got no assistant. What's up, Reginald? Hey, Reginald, take your text. I'm be done in about 1 hour or less. What's up, L. Goody? Jay Jamerson? What's up, Christopher? What's up, Show Nuff? I'm sorry, I didn't greet Larry properly. What's up, bitch? There we go. Now I greeted Larry properly. What's up, Troya? Respect to everybody. Respect to and love to everybody joining in. Respect and love to everybody joining in. Anyway, for those who don't know, Steve Urkel is over here shooting. Why is it always these weirdo niggas? I don't want to call him a weirdo. I'm not going to call him that. But it's always the ones that don't have any kind of affinity to black culture or respect to for black culture talking the most shit about black culture. It's always two kinds of men that always be the main ones talking about what we doing wrong, what we ain't doing right. It's always two kind of dudes. Dude number one, obviously Jaleel White, and the kind that be dating them white women all the time. And I'm not saying every dude that dates white women are like this, but too many of y'all are. Y'all get on your high horse about what's wrong with black folks. And that's why we don't be getting along like that. Not that we don't like you for dating white women. We don't give a fuck who you date. It's the bullshit you say when you date them. You old niggas that think you done arrived because you got yourself a Susan. It's them kind of niggas and them street niggas that spend way too much time in jail. They be the main ones, or the dudes that been on the streets. We the only ones killing each other. No, nigga, y'all the ones. Don't be grouping me with y'all. I couldn't stand you niggas when I back in the 80s and the 90s. Scared to go to 7-Eleven because you punks sitting out front acting all tough. Now we all grown. You's the one fucking up the hood. The rest of us was in the hood because we had to live. We couldn't afford to live in a better neighborhood. And we had to deal with your crummy ass. And you be the main ones. See, this is what's wrong with us. Jumping on Adam 22s and Vlads. Then be as hard as ultra hood niggas that's going to run. First thing you want to do is run an Adam 22, run the Vlad, and then be like, that's what's wrong with our culture. That's what's wrong with our culture. No, nigga, you what's wrong with our culture. You are what's wrong with our culture. It's always them kind of cats. So, those of us who ain't in that box, which is the majority of us, it's time we shoot back, you know? It's time that we all shoot back. We can't be letting these cats always be the ones defining what it is. So what I'm going to do right now, count my money. Got my goddamn, don't you hate when you got too many ones? Look like I'm about to go to a fucking strip club. That's why I be using my debit card. All these goddamn ones. Next time I put these motherfuckers to the side when I get off the freeway, pass them off to a brother. But I only give my money to the black people on the side of the road. I don't give my money to white people. I'm sorry. I can't see. Do y'all, I'm not going to get to the topic, but when y'all see homeless people, I can't give homeless white people money. The real nigga in me won't let it happen, you know? The real nigga in me be like, nah, you had your chance, Jimmy. Now, if I see a brother, I might slide him a 20 or something like that. I'm sorry. You done wasted all that whiteness to end up on the side of the 405? What the fuck can I do? Anyway, that was a side. That was, my bad. And I love everybody. I do. I love everybody. That's not talking shit about people. Dewan loves everybody, okay? That was just a moment of honesty. Let's see if our audio, okay, so our audio's good. All right, so now, okay, our audio's good. So let's go to what Steve Urkel had to say. And then we are going to get it in, all right? We're going to talk about it. Let's go.
Being a part of the TGIF brand sometimes makes you feel like you don't completely belong in the pantheon of blackness. Blackness has been treated as a very monolithic experience in entertainment. If it's not a hood story, it's not a black story. And, sometimes I feel left out of that. So it's like, like if there's ever a poll and they say, oh, what are your favorite black shows? And, Martin is in there or Living Single or any of those kinds, I already know we coming in last. But if there's ever a poll and it's just like your favorite family shows and suddenly Martin's not in there or whatever, all of a sudden we rank really high. And so it's kind of interesting in how we look at ourselves, to be quite honest, even as black folks. And somehow I became a symbol for black male nerd culture, to be quite honest. I mean, I know this for a fact. Any brother that grew up in the 80s and 90s, well, 90s and 2000s, wearing glasses, he was told at school he looked like me. He was called Urkel. And he didn't look anything like me, guaranteed. But still, his peers would find a way to call him Urkel, and even girls to that extent. So it's really humbling to see how far nerd culture has come. And really, it's not nerd culture; it's smart culture. It's hobbyist culture. It's skateboarders. And I could never have known in a million years that I would be the face of that. I never could have known that.
I'm going to start from the end and go back to the beginning. He said, first off, it's not nerd culture. It's smart culture. Nah, nigga, it's nerd culture. And hell yeah, back in the 90s, if y'all wasn't around, if some dude came running around with them big stupid looking ass glasses on? Hell yeah, he was Urkel. Hell yeah, he was Urkel. Because as black folks, we get the easy joke off. So yeah, this isn't nerd. This is the nigga. What? I'm smart. Don't look. This is what I don't like. I don't like when they try to make it seem as if black folks have this special evilness towards smart people. I can't stand that shit. Every group goes at the nerd. If you the nerd, if you the weirdo, hell, it's a lot of you motherfuckers probably in the chat room goddamn now. Respect to the nerds. But you was easy. Everybody got it in black culture. And it's always these people trying to make it. He's trying to figure out why he's the face of nerds when he got famous doing this and saying, did I do that? Nigga, your famous line was, did I do that? The fuck is you talking about? That ain't got nothing to do with smart. Nigga, you could be smart and still not be a fucking weirdo. Wearing suspenders and driving an Isetta. That's what I said. So let's just start off with that. Let's just start off there. But I want to go back to the beginning. And we're going to parse this down little by little. What's up, chat room? Welcome. Make sure y'all hit the like button. We got 85 likes, well over 200 people in here. I need well over 200 likes. So make sure y'all hit the like button. So let's go back and just unpack this crock of bullshit that he talking right here. Let's go back and unpack this crop of bullshit.
Being a part of the TGIF brand sometimes makes you feel like you don't completely belong in the pantheon of blackness. You know, blackness has been treated as a very monolithic experience.
Let's start off with that. For those of you who are young and don't know what he mean by the TGIF brand. TGIF was a thing that was around in the late 80s, early 90s. It was a few shows. It was like, what was that boy? About Perfect Strangers. It was you know the song, the show in goddamn San Francisco. Y'all know what I'm talking about with. Hey, chat room, y'all know the goddamn show with the twin daughters and Uncle Joey. What was that show, man? I'm drawing a fucking blank. What's the name of that show? Y'all know the show I'm talking about? Full House. Full House. That's the name of the show. Y'all didn't help me. Full House. Yeah, Full House. Step by step. Step by step. Day by day. So it was an ABC thing. And Family Matters was their black show on that time. So, but let me tell you something. That's not the reason why we didn't fuck with you, Jaleel White. And we did fuck with you. We liked all them shows. Everybody liked Full House. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Especially if you was Gen X or a young millennial, the early days of Full House, maybe not so much later on, but when the Olsen twins were still young, and we was like before they started looking grown and shit and old, and people like Full House. Uncle Joey and with the other one with the mullet, forgot his name. We like that show. So it's not the TGIF thing, my brother. But let's keep going.
In entertainment, you know, if it's not a hood story, it's not a black story. And you know, sometimes I feel left out of that. You know, so it's like you know, like if there's ever a poll, monolithic experience.
Let's go back.
You know, blackness has been treated as a very monolithic experience in entertainment. You know, if it's not a hood story, it's not a black story. And you know, sometimes I feel left out of that.
So you see that's the first shot he takes. He sees, and he's not now he's not talking about the network executives. He's not talking about them, the people who program everything, the people who are really behind it all. No. He's not talking about the network. He's talking about us, saying if it's not a hood story, it's not a black story. Well, let's all go back to that time in the early 90s when Family Matter was on. There were a lot of not the hood stories when Family Matters came around. Those weren't Family Matters actually came around before that 90s genre of more hood stories. You had The Cosby Show. That's probably the most beloved show in Black America. That wasn't a hood story. You had The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That wasn't a hood story. Martin wasn't a hood story. Living Single wasn't a hood story. None of those popular programs on at that time was a hood story. You had shows that was good and shows that was good for the times. Family Matters was a good show. That was in there. That was in that mix. There are other shows that have been looked over. To me, in my personal opinion, Hanging with Mr. Cooper was one of the more slept on shows. But I was also 12 when that show was out. I probably wouldn't have liked Hanging with Mr. Cooper if I was 20 at the time. I probably wouldn't have liked Steve Urkel if I was 25, 30 at the time. But me personally, I was 8, 9 years old when Steve Urkel came out, so I love that shit. Nigga, even Ice Cube got songs talking about came home and watched the episode of Urkel. Death Row Records. Just listen to hip hop at the time. They always talked about watching Urkel on TV. Urkel was a fun character. So, but Hanging with Mr. Cooper was a very popular show at the time. It wasn't a hood story. Sister Sister, when we get into the 90s, wasn't a hood story. Popular show. Things didn't really get ultra hood until the 2000s, honestly. When the 50 Cent genre came around and when Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, and 50 Cent took over filmmaking, that's when things got more ghetto-fied. But if we're dealing with the 90s, in the 90s, there was a nice, diverse palette of content that was going through network TV. Oh yeah, In the House with LL Cool J, that was one of the Debbie Allen. You had A Different World. I mean, even after Fresh Prince went off, remember you had that like 2 seasons of that show Sparks with Uncle Phil when he was a lawyer? Y'all remember that show Sparks? So, off top, he coming off with some bullshit. He's coming out with some bullshit. And that's one thing we don't respect as a people. People that are bullshitting. Let's keep going.
So it's like, like if there's ever a poll and they say, oh, what are your favorite black shows? And, Martin is in there or Living Single or any of those kinds, I already know we coming in last.
Of course. Of course you coming in last behind Living Single and Martin. But here's the thing. We still watched Steve Urkel because Urkel was on Friday. Martin and Living Single was Thursday. In Living Color had Sunday. Fresh Prince had Monday. Everybody had a night. So, yeah. Martin was a 15 times better show. It wasn't corny. Martin had black writers. Who are the writers on Family Matters? Hell, let's see here. Let's see here real quick. Let me find out who the writers were on Family Matters. I don't know. I'm sure most of the writers were white. Let me see. I'm sure of it. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what it says. Okay. Let's see. Let me see. Michael Warren. I think I know who Michael Warren is. I think I know Michael Warren. I think I know Michael Warren. He a dude. Let me see here. I think I met Michael Warren a few times. I met Michael Warren a few times. Let's see here. I don't have no pictures. Yeah, Michael Warren was a brother. I remember him. But let me see here. Let me see here. I think this is him right here. That was Michael Warren. I think Michael Warren was the only black writer on that show. I think that was the only one. And but when you look at Family Matters, it was kind of a cheesy show. It was made for kids. You know? So he's already, putting himself in the class of Living Single and Martin. Martin is probably the funniest TV show of all time. Probably the funniest TV show of all time. So that ain't got an indictment on black culture. That's just, nigga, you got beat out by a show that just was way funnier. And it was a show, Martin was more and Living Single were more culturally significant. They didn't rely on hack gimmicks like acting like a nerd. Them niggas just had jokes.
Living Single or any of those kinds, I already know we coming in last. But if there's ever a poll and it's just like your favorite family shows and suddenly Martin's not in there or whatever, all of a sudden we rank really high.
You see how what's this dude's issues with the show Martin? Martin wasn't a family show. You see how, he's conflating two things. Martin was not a family show. Martin was a funny show. Hell, a lot of you corny ass parents tried to stop your kids from watching it because of the way people were. No, you can't watch that. No, Martin was no damn family show. Martin was a funny show that all ages could enjoy. It's a difference. It's a difference between a family show, Cosby Show, family show, Fresh Prince, family show. Why isn't he comparing apples to apples? Compare your family show with other family shows. If you put your show with the Cosby Show and with Fresh Prince, you still lose. You still lose. Compare apples to apples. For chat room, do y'all agree? You put Family Matters with the Cosby Show and the Fresh Prince, Family Matters is gonna come in three every single time. Me personally, I'm gonna put Fresh Prince first, then the Cosby Show, then Family Matters. So you're over here trying to put yourself in a discussion with TV shows that's not even in your genre. What is this nigga's issue with the show Martin? Did this nigga get curved by Gina in real life or something? Nigga, did Pam clown your overalls, nigga? Did one of them jokes she hit Martin with affect you? Nah, one of them Pam jokes against Cole. She probably one of them jokes that she hit Cole with probably offended him. them jokes was funny as hell back in the day. I think he felt a little bit of some way that the Pam Cole dynamic was a lot funnier than the dynamic between him and Laura. I think he feeling some kind of way.
And suddenly Martin's not in there or whatever. All of a sudden we rank really high. And so it's kind of interesting in how we look at ourselves, to be quite honest, even as Black folks. And somehow I became a symbol for.
You see how he tried. This is why what he's saying is relevant to this topic.
And right, so it's kind of interesting in how we look at ourselves, to be quite honest, even as Black folks.
Quite how we look at ourselves. Because we chose Martin. Because we chose Martin in the Chilligan's Island episode. Who on earth can watch Martin in that Chilligan Island episode? First off, they called... Who the fuck named it Chilligan's Island? Nigga, that's just the name of the island, Chilligan's Island. Like, that already is funnier than anything that ever happened on Family Matters. And I like Family Matters, by the way. But, or the episode when Martin was a love doctor, when he said, "It's not what you say, it's what you do." You can't compare that to any episode of Family Matters. And that's not, well, if anything is cultural, okay, yeah, put it on the culture. Because the culture appreciate jokes. Like, all that cheesy nerd stuff was funny. It was funny. But that's it. It didn't have much replay value. And Eddie, I gotta say this. Eddie Winslow was probably the corniest character on TV. Eddie Winslow was even more corny than Carlton. And he was supposed to be the cool one. He was supposed to be the cool ones. Let me see if I can find that episode. Let me see if I can find. This was the best episode of Family Matters right here. Let me tell you how corny Family Matters was. Let me tell you. This was the greatest. This was the funniest episode of all time for Family Matters right here.
Calling card.
Y'all remember when Eddie got beat up by the dragons?
Oh, places ruined. Carl, can't you arrest these guys?
Yes, we can.
This is the greatest episode ever. Watch.
2 hours later, the dragons will be right back out on the street.
What?
Y'all remember this episode?
Well, because every gangbanger will produce 10 people who will say they were someplace else when all of this happened.
So these hoodlums can just do whatever they want and get away with it?
Well,
here it comes, right here.
Oh. Eddie! Oh, Eddie!
I don't care what nobody say, yo. That was the greatest episode of Married with Children. When Eddie got his corny ass beat by the dragons. Oh, they were like, Eddie. Man, dog, I've been watching the episode thinking, I need the dragons on every episode to whoop this corny nigga's ass. Even when Eddie got his new car. Y'all remember the episode like when Eddie got that new car? And he had gotten it all waxed up and the crowd was like, ooh. Man, that was Eddie was that cornball that had the new car that none of the hoes want to get in that car in high school. Like, how this nigga got a new car, But ain't nothing like if this was real life, this is real life. Eddie Winslow went to Westchester High. This nigga would have had a new car and no hoes. Eddie was the corniest nigga ever. Probably a little bit. Eddie was probably more corny than Urkel. Eddie was probably more corny than Urkel. Oh yeah, speaking of family shows, I'm taking Married with Children all day over Family Matters. In my personal opinion, the two greatest shows of all time are Martin and Married with Children. I can watch them replay, them reruns all the time. When Al Bundy would nigga, Bud Bundy was more cool than Steve Urkel. And Bud Bundy didn't get no hoes. But Bud Bundy he was cooler than Steve Urkel and Eddie Winslow. Lord, think about it, on Family Matters, out of all the women, let's look at this. Let's just break this down. Let's just look. Let's just go with here. Let's just go. I'm gonna pull the image out. Let's just go down the line on why we like Martin and Living Single more than Family Matters. Let's just go here. Can we go all the way? First off, we just trying to figure out how the fuck did Richie grow up so fast? Richie was a baby one season, and then the next season, this nigga had a full-on El DeBarge mullet. How the fuck did little Richie go from a newborn baby to a damn El DeBarge looking little kid in one season? That was the first thing we want to know. Whoever the fuck cast Richie little corny looking ass, that was part of the reason that made the show corny. Like, why do you have all these niggas and then one dude with a mullet? And he didn't just have a regular mullet. This nigga Richie had one of them Vladimir Guerrero WWF mullets. Like, where the fuck did this little mullet DeBarge looking kid come from? That was strike number one against Family Matters. Aunt Rachel, she was fine. Niggas fuck with Aunt Rachel. Like, when we was kids, you know how it is when you a kid. All the dudes in here know when you a kid, you playing who would you fuck. You know what I mean? We niggas was 11. We wasn't fucking shit at the age of 11. But when we played that game, we wasn't fucking the motherfucking thing, nigga. We wasn't doing shit. But at school, we talking shit, and everyone agreed on the show. Aunt Rachel, she is the one that can get it the most. Am I lying, chat? Aunt Rachel was the one that can get it the most. Grandma was funny. And then you had Judy. What the fuck happened to Judy? Judy went upstairs one day, and we didn't see her again until we saw her on a porno when the internet came out. Judy went upstairs, and she was never to be seen again until internet porn became something. And niggas was like, hey, that's Judy Winslow. The fuck? So Steve Urkel, although we enjoyed your show, we did enjoy the show. I'm just breaking down the levels of corny that Family Matters was. Okay? And then you had Waldo in the back. That nigga came out of nowhere, and he was funny. Waldo was funny, but he was a cornball. But it was really hard to establish his cornball nature because Eddie Winslow's a cornball too. Then you had Harriet Winslow. She sounded like she drank a gravel shake before every show. And I loved her. Don't get me wrong. I love seeing her. I think she's a sweet lady. My homegirl used to live on the same block as her in Ladera. I used to see her sometimes going into the homegirl house. But she sounded like she drank a gravel shake before every show. Carl! Could not one nigga on earth imagine Harriet Winslow moaning while she riding you. Carl. No nigga want to hear that. See, niggas wanted to, when it came to the Cosby Show, man, Felicia Rashad, nigga, I don't give a fuck what you feel. If you respect real women, man, hell yeah. Niggas watch shows to see who can get it. That's just part of the male nature. Ladies, don't get mad at us. But no nigga on earth said, I want to smash Harriet Winslow. So that was another minus point. On Living Single, people was choosing who you wanted. You know, man, Sinclair can get it before Harriet Winslow on Living Single. You had the chicks, the niggas that fucked with the bigger Dana Owens because she had some big ass titties. Niggas wanted Queen Latifah. Niggas definitely wanted Regine. Everybody wanted Regine. Then you had the ones who wanted Maxine Shaw, and Sinclair could get it. Well, nobody trying to hear Kyle. Harriet Winslow sounded like Tommy Heinsohn, the nigga, the old goddamn announcer for the Celtics. Oh, what a steal by bird! Was that Tommy Heinsohn? What a steal by bird! That's how Harriet Winslow sounded. We was like, man. And then you had Carl, that we would always get him mixed up with Uncle Phil. Carl, this nigga was a cop. He was a cop that nobody trusted could ever stop anybody as a cop. And although we like Carl Winslow as a father, we love Carl Winslow as a father. We was like, you raised a corny ass son to Eddie Winslow, so gotta be something wrong with you. Cause your son's a fucking cornball. Then you had Laura Winslow. Laura Winslow played way too fine. She played, I get the whole thing with her and Urkel, but it's like, chill. First off, what was Eddie's girlfriend's name? Remember his other girlfriend, Myra, the one that died of stomach cancer? But remember, first off, Myra was way better than Laura. Niggas is like, Laura, calm down. Myra is Myra Cole. And then Myra was the finest one on the show, and she was barely ever even on the show. Niggas is like, Laura, calm down. Myra, look, let's put Myra next to Laura. There's nothing to make the show awkward. Was like, hold on, you got her, but you chasing now. Laura, don't get me wrong, Laura can get it. Niggas wasn't tripping on Laura. Like Laura wasn't ugly and nothing like that. Laura can get it. But if you think back during the times, let's go back to the 90s. If you was young and your nuts was just dropping in the late 80s, early 90s, like a lot of us in here were, this was during the time our nuts was just dropping, you know? We had Ashley Banks. Bad. Hillary Banks. Cold. You had, what's her name from In the House? Remember when In the House came on? Old girl, she ended up having the mental breakdown. I'm drawing a blank. And I saw her too. And I'm not going to tell that story. But the girl who had the mental breakdown, I forgot her name. We had all the chicks that was on a different world. You had the Lisa Bonet types for the people who like that. You had all the different fine ass women on a different world. You had Pam and Gina. We had the Living Color cast. The chicks are, well, not Kim Wayans, but the other ones. You know, we had a lot of fine ass women on TV. And it's just TV. We ain't even talking about the movies with Halle Berry and all them. We talking about just TV. Laura, for the young niggas like me at the time, whose nuts was just dropping, she was on the bottom of the list. Hell, you had Hang with Mr. Cooper. You had, what's her name? Holly Robinson from Hang with Mr. Cooper. It was a lot of bad women on TV. And for y'all dudes that are under 30, y'all don't know. Because y'all niggas under 30, y'all had to grow up watching Cynthia Erivo be. You niggas under 30 done had these. Y'all have Issa Rae. Like, damn. Now, I'm not saying she's ugly, but compared to what we had in the early 90s, man, please, Maya Campbell, yeah. Oh yeah, Lisa Turtle. I am tripping. We had Lisa Turtle from Saved by the Bell. Oh yeah, old girl from the Parenthood. Yep. Fellas had a lot. Cree Summer, yeah. We had Stacey Dash was on TV. It was so many fine women on TV. See now, if Laura Winslow was on TV today, oh yeah, she'd be one of the baddest ones on TV today. Hell yeah. Like if Laura Winslow was on TV now, the coast is clear. She'd be good. The coast is clear. Laura Winslow will be cold than the motherfucker on today's TV. I be feeling bad for y'all, man. Y'all got women like Lena Waithe, who don't even want to be a woman, being on every goddamn thing. Y'all got, ooh, shit. Y'all got chicks like Precious that's on TV. It wasn't no women like Precious on TV when we was kids. Only one was Mother Love. And she had a TV show. Man, we had some fine women on TV. And Laura got caught up in the mix. Not that she wasn't bad. She was. But compared to what we had on TV in the early 90s, chat room, am I lying? I don't mean to be mean. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just being real. We got over 300 people in here and less than 200 likes. I need the likes to come up some. And then, like I said before, we had Eddie Winslow. As a young man growing up in the 90s, 80s, you know, it's natural to look up to who's on TV. You had Dwayne Wayne on Different World. He was hella cool because he had the flip glasses. You had the In Living Colors characters because I was always funny, so I like laughing. So, you know, you had I used to like doing Homie the Clown when I was a kid. I used to love walking in and I'd get a sock. Me, my brother, and my sister used to have a little sock fighting contest like a Homie the Clown. We get a sock, roll on some other socks, and the minute somebody say a joke that wasn't funny, crack! Nigga, Homie don't play that. We had fun in the 90s, y'all. Y'all young niggas don't know. We had fun. You had, of course, Fresh Prince. That was the coolest nigga on Fresh Prince. Just Fresh Prince's shoe collection alone. Martin and Fresh Prince. Them niggas had all the J's. Like, just to say, this nigga Eddie was still wearing like the warehouse shoe sale Nike Forces on his show. But Martin and Fresh Prince, man, them niggas had the coldest Jordans all the time. You'd be like, oh, that nigga Martin got them sevens on. Am I lying? Let's just go down the line of all the dudes that was on TV. For us young dudes. That was like, okay, we wonder, okay, yeah, Martin, you had, even Carlton. Carlton was more fly than Eddie Winslow. Carlton was way more fly than Eddie Winslow. We had all kind of cats that it was like, oh yeah, that person, yeah. Nobody on earth, no dude on earth grew up saying, I want to be like Eddie Winslow. I want to dress like Eddie Winslow. Nobody was saying I want to get girls like Eddie Winslow. Daylene, and he was a simp. Remember Eddie Winslow's girlfriend with Daylene? He was always simping to her. Like, man, she ain't even cold. The fuck you simping for, nigga? If you don't give her the Daylene, that sorry ass, and get a new one. Dad, I don't know. Daylene. Well, Daylene don't like you because you got your ass beat by the dragons, nigga. You was corny. I ain't even got to Urkel yet, did I? I haven't even got to Urkel yet. The coolest, the coolest OG on the show was Grandmama. Grandmama was an OG. Like, everybody loved Grandmama. Grandmama wasn't corny. Because Grandmama was funny as hell, and we all had somebody in our family like Grandmama. So Grandmama was like the most solid one on the show. She was the most solid one on the show. But I used to want to grab Little Richie's mullet and cut that shit like Brutus the Barber Beefcake would do after he beat somebody's ass. I remember wrestling back in the day. Brutus the Barber Beefcake, every time he won, that nigga would cut somebody's mullet off. That's what I wanted to happen to Little Richie. I was hoping Richie had his own episode of the Dragons, or maybe the Junior Dragons whooped his ass in preschool or something. I don't know. Because kids still fight in school. That's what I was hoping would happen with Little Richie. I was hoping the Junior Dragons would come and like knock that nigga shag off. So, although this was a good show, we dealing with a lot of corny motherfuckers. And then we get to Steve Urkel. Steve Urkel, before I get to Steve Urkel, I gotta say this. You gotta make sure you go to intellectualpower.net. Go to intellectualpower.net right now. Get yours. Get yours right now. Intellectualpower.net. This shit here make your mind sharp. Steve Urkel. Steve Urkel want to talk about us not liking smart people. Shit. You was just corny. We love Reza. We love smart people. Smartness is a good thing. But corny is something different. Corny don't mean smart, Steve Urkel. So here at Dewan B, YouTube, Incense and Ashtrays, we celebrate intelligence with intellectual power. Aight? So let's get back to breaking down Family Matters. So now we get to Steve Urkel. The 80s into the 90s had a lot of stock characters. And especially the 80s. Y'all remember the 80s? Revenge of the Nerds. The 80s, it was like a lot of nerd themes in the 80s, you know? The 80s was full of nerd themes. Like you had Screech from Saved by the Bell. You had Urkel. And it was a few other nerds. You had what's his name? I just said his name, from Fresh Prince. Carlton from Fresh Prince. So the nerd character was like a kind of like an 80s thing into the early 90s, into the 90s, having that nerd guy. And Steve Urkel played the best nerd. Steve Urkel played a better nerd than Screech from Saved by the Bell. That was a comparison back in the day. Carlton, Screech, or Urkel. Well, Urkel by far was the standout character. The show wasn't even written for him to be the lead. They had to, because everyone watched the show and Steve Urkel made the show stand out, he became the lead. He became the lead. And he played one hell of a nerd. Especially when he pulled up in that I said her. That's what I said her. But then, let's see. But then you had this other thing. Steve Urkel, for those of you who are too young and don't know, Steve Urkel had an alter, what do you call it? An alter ego. Steve Urkel had an alter ego. And Steve Urkel's often alter ego was Stefan Urkel. But even Steve Urkel's alter ego, Stefan Urkel, was still corny. If you're going to tell the whole truth, even he was corny. I'm trying to. Oh, yeah. You ready? All right. Can I lock it up? Okay. Thanks. All right. I got the repair folks here in my house getting my heater fixed. But you had Stefan Urkel. I remember it was one episode when Stefan Urkel went so far as to get Freddie Jackson on the show. And Freddie Jackson saying, "You are my lady." Oh, here it is. I just found the picture. Y'all remember this episode right here? So even this nigga had Freddie Jackson come and sing. Even your alter ego, Stefan Urkel, was corny as fuck. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second. I'm back. Told you I be running this shit, man. I ain't got no assistant. I'm sorry. Hit the Cash App. Maybe I can afford one. But hit the Cash App anyway. $ Dewan B1. Hit the Cash App. And also, go to blisscapsules.com. Type in the product code Dewan B1. You buy 2 of these hoes, get 1 for free. And it's worth it. Because there's some shit that be having you totally legal. Egyptian Lotus. This right here be having you floating, but really helps you with your focus and with your energy, getting your energy and things done. Anyway, back to what we're talking about. Sorry about that, y'all. Again, like I said, hey, what can you do when you got a whole 3 buildings to run while you're doing a YouTube live? Okay, back to what I'm saying. So, Steve Urkel, this nigga got Freddie Jackson to come. He was still corny. And he had the other character, Myrtle Urkel. Y'all remember Myrtle Urkel and those episodes of Myrtle and what's his name, Eddie? That shit was like, it was just ugly because Eddie was corny and Myrtle was like weird. So in no area, the only area that Family Matters wins over other TV shows of the time was that Steve Urkel was the best nerd. And that was our attraction to the show. But remember, everybody had a nerd. You had, in Boy Meets World, you had Minkus. And every show, hell, Small Wonder, nigga. All them shows in the 80s had some nerdy ass dude. That was just like a thing of the 80s. It was like, if you was going to be around in the 80s and you was going to be on TV in the 80s, 1 out of 3 shows in the 80s had a fucking nerd. And that wasn't a black culture thing, Steve Urkel, Jaleel White. It was an American stock character of the time. And you played the best one. So out of all these characters, Little Richie and his Elder Barge mullet, Judy disappearing and going off into porn one day, Grandma being the most solid one on the set, Aunt Rachel being the one that can get it the most, Harriet being the one that can get it the least. Now, Carl was cool, but he was surrounded by a bunch of corny people, and he was corny too. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. What the heck is bothering me? Man. Laura Winslow acting like she was battered than she was when we just turned off Lisa Turtle. We just turned off Hillary Banks. Now we turning to you. And you like, all right, cool. Waldo, yeah, he came in. And Eddie was the corniest nigga on TV. Eddie was the corniest one. So, this dude, Steve Urkel, Jaleel White, trying to make a cultural argument out of this is bullshit.
And somehow I became a symbol for black male nerd culture, to be quite honest. I mean,
don't take all the credit. Carlton was a part of that too. All right. And then you had, remember Austin from In the House? Remember the show with LL Cool J and Debbie Allen? You had the kid Austin. Austin was a nerd. But you were the best nerd, Jaleel White. But you was right there with Carlton Banks, quite honestly. You were the best nerd, but you didn't, you had strong competition with Carlton Banks.
I know this for a fact. Any brother that grew up in the 80s and 90s, 90s and 2000s, wearing glasses, he was told at school he looked like me.
That's true. That is very much so true. We called kids with thick brim glasses Urkel. And why the fuck would you take offense to that? That was a character. I get called when I was a kid, even through now. I get called whatever fat person people can think of. And most people are not that creative. You know how many times back in the 80s, I've been a fat kid. So I was a fat kid, goddammit. I ain't never been skinny. They was calling me Rerun in the 80s, nigga. Whatever fat nigga they can find. No matter how he looked. That nigga was gonna be me. Heavy D. I ain't even light-skinned like that. I can't dance like that. But you still Heavy D though. You know how many times I get called Carl Winslow or or Uncle Phil. I don't look like none of them niggas. That's just what it is, you cornball ass nigga. If you had glasses, you was called Urkel. If you was a fat nigga, you was called Carl Winslow or Uncle Phil. And you don't look nothing like him. It's just an easy joke for people who ain't funny to go to. This nigga, this is why I don't feel anything for this dude. I don't feel nothing. Those are just convenient jokes people that ain't got jokes go to. And you gotta just take it for what it is. Although I was with my wife the other night, and some dude came in and was like, "Hey," trying to be funny. You ever hear people say you look like Uncle Phil? I said, he's like, I said, yeah. I've been getting called Uncle Phil for the last 35 years. The same way they call your ugly black ass Flavor Flav. And that motherfucker looked at me like, and he got offended that I called him Flavor Flav. Like, nigga, you started it. And then when I saw he was offended, I doubled down. When I saw that nigga. I said, yeah, when I saw that Flavor Flav affected him, I said, anybody ever tell you look like a male Leslie Jones? That nigga really got, oh man, I ain't fucking with you, man. I called that nigga a male Leslie Jones. So if you want to call me Uncle Phil or Carl Winslow, I'm cool with that. But what I say in return, I can't control. Just be ready. So that's real weak of him going around. People with glasses call themselves Urkel. Yeah, nigga, and Carl Winslow. And corny niggas get called Eddie Winslow. And chicks that think they better than they really are get called Laura Winslow. And gravelly voiced broads get called Harriet Winslow. And light-skinned niggas with mullets get called Lil Richie. That's just what it is. And you still crying about it 30 years later. What the fuck is your problem, homeboy?
He was called Urkel. And he didn't look anything like me, guaranteed. But still, his peers would find a way to call him Urkel, and even girls to that extent. So it's really humbling to see how.
So, y'all see what I'm saying? Mind you, this dude going around talking about how he feel, and mind you, this is a guy that for the most part, you notice he has something to say about black society. He has something to say, but also look, this is also Jaleel White. This is also Jaleel White right here. It's always the ones that want the white girl. Yeah, when you like Elizabeth, everybody's getting from Kid Capri to Drake. Yeah, it just culturally we gonna say things, and certain jokes are stock jokes. Calling a nigga with glasses Urkel is a stock joke. Calling a fat nigga Uncle Phil or Carl Winslow is a stock joke, and it's gonna get mediocre laughs, but it's not gonna get as many laughs as whatever my comeback is gonna be. That's just what I tell. That's just what I warn people of in person. I don't mind you throwing it because I've been getting that shot for 30 years. But can you handle my return shot? That's the problem, right? That's the question right there. You can say it, you can dish it. But can you take it? But look at what look at. It's always these dudes. It's always these dudes. Let me get another one. There we go. It's always them. It's always these guys. There's another guy that always got some hot shit to say about black people. The two nigga nerds of the 90s always got some hot shit to say about black people. But look who they marry. Why are you worried about what black people think if you choose not to marry one? That's what I be trying to figure out. What's wrong with these niggas? It's always these niggas that don't want to spend the rest of their life with a black woman talking about what black people are doing wrong. The fuck is, what's wrong with that, y'all? Is it just me? Chat room, is it just me? Is it just me? Am I tripping? Am I tripping? You're right. They both big blind, and they didn't just get no regular old white women. They got some white women, blonde white women, not white, white. And I don't want to hear did no black woman want you. I went to elementary school. Man, I knew all kind of chicks that had crushes on Stefan Urkel and what's his name from Fresh Prince. You niggas, if you couldn't land yourself and keep yourself a black woman, it's not their fault. It's because you weird. Especially you was on TV bringing in all that money, resources wasn't a problem. You could have found, and y'all was right here in LA too. Y'all know how many fine, loyal black women went to Westchester High that y'all could have wifed up? I got a few homegirls that went to Westchester that have been wives to their husbands, my homeboys, for years. All my inner circle of male friends got married. Even a lot of my inner circle of female friends, they got married, and they good wives to their husbands. I'm cool with their husbands and still cool with them. My wife, man, you know how many goddamn beautiful, loyal women are right here in this city that all you niggas went past? So, that's on y'all. Famo said Jamil bringing up old shit. But now we see who's talking. The dude's talking about what's wrong with black people. The dude's talking about what's wrong with this is something about society. Even though this is the same society that pushed the Cosby Show and Fresh Prince to #1. Right. This is why I don't be tripping on these people that be talking shit about black people. All you gotta do is go here. So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to come in. Go to DewanB.com. Book your readings at BreakthroughCards.com. Go to the merch shop. Go to the merch shop. We got some special shows coming for you. Subscribe to the Patreon. On this week on Patreon, I'm just trying to check my calendar. It's either gonna be Thursday or Friday. We're gonna do a watch party with the Drink Champs interview with Snoop and Dre. We're gonna do a watch party, but that's gonna be a Patreon exclusive. So make sure y'all subscribe to Patreon. The watch party with Dr. Dre and Snoop is gonna be available to all the tiers, all the paid tiers, I should say, on Patreon. We're gonna watch that Drink Champs interview together, and then we're gonna stop and commentate on some of the music on that from that Drink Champs interview. All right. Appreciate that, mods. G Mars, I appreciate all the mods up in here. All right. Jessica said, look at them girls in 10 years. Hey. Yeah, like, you ever ask yourself, if Charles Barkley knew his wife would look like this, would he have married her? That nigga Charles Barkley's wife looked like her name is Randy. Before I get up out of here, somebody that you made a good comment. And shouts out to Charles Barkley. I ain't got no issues with Charles Barkley. But I remember he was one of them early ones. Back when he first got, she wasn't, you know. So let's see. Let me. This is. Let me look at this. This is what y'all got to look forward to. Carlton Banks and Steve Urkel. This is how it started with Charles Barkley. This is how it started. This is how it ended. So while y'all over here trying to talk shit about black people, y'all need to look for. Y'all need to see what y'all y'all need to see what's in the future for you. Y'all talking shit about black folks, but look what's in your future. And this ain't got nothing to do with black folks. What y'all probably gonna blame? Y'all probably gonna blame black society for your wife aging like buttermilk. This how it started. This how it ended. She look like she can wrestle Bret the Hitman Hart right now. All right. Thank y'all again for listening. Remember, there are no perfect messengers. Only perfect messages for those willing to pick up the game. Steve Urkel, black culture ain't the problem. You the problem. Matter of fact, there is no problem. People just had their preferences. You had a dope show, but the other shows you mentioned were better. They had cooler people and more attractive women. They were funnier and they had better storylines. It's not saying your show wasn't great. I watched probably every episode of Family Matters from the first season, like the first 6 seasons. By the time 94, 95 came back, now by the time 94 came around, about my last year really watching Family Matters regularly. Stayed on TV longer. But from like 89 to 94, I watched every episode of Family Matters. Even into 95 a little bit. Once I got to high school, a little bit. But for the times that I watched, it was still a good show. Take it for what it is. You'll never hear Zach Morris complaining that Saved by the Bell wasn't taken as seriously as Law and Order or some shit like that. Saved by the Bell and Friends, you were more on that Saved by the Bell Friday 19 shit. We kind of had a black Saved by the Bell in some way. It's like, remember that show California Dreams and the nigga that was on California Dreams? I don't even remember that nigga name. But, you know, he was still cooler than anybody on Family Matters. So let's get off the bullshit, man, all right? Thank y'all again for listening. I'm DeJuan. I'll see y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe to the Patreon, all right? I'm out.